First thing is I've been looking into Bill C-3, which would expand Canadian citizenship through what you all are calling lost Canadians, which is my grandmother. One thing that's really, really cool is that I got a phone call from Don Chapman. Huge part, if not, he's the driving force behind this Bill C-3 that could grant me and possibly my children Canadian citizenship before we move. Another thing I wanted to share with you that I looked up this week to learn more about is curling. The other thing that I looked up, which I'm sure y'all will find amusing, is I always wondered this, but I never looked it up. What is the difference between the French that people speak in France versus the French that's spoken in Canada?
Hi, I'm Jen and I do things. And today I want to wish you, if you are in Canada, a very happy Thanksgiving and let you know that I am very thankful for you. I am very thankful to be able to share my immigration journey with you on the internet and to be able to talk back and forth in the comments because it has been extremely valuable. And that's where we're going to start today, is with the things that you taught me and the things that I am currently learning about immigrating to Canada. If you are new here, I am moving from the East Coast of the US in the state of Maryland to Vancouver Island is the plan. I also have a husband and I have 2 teenagers. So this is quite the big move. I've always lived in the US. I have always lived on the East Coast. I have always lived in my teeny tiny little state of Maryland. So this is a really big deal. And I think what I'm learning, and it's something that I kind of have wrapped my head around before, but it's becoming even more apparent, is that you don't know what you don't know until someone tells you that you don't know it. And that's kind of been the story so far. First thing I learned was I had mentioned in my last video that I wanted to learn French because I thought it would be nice to be able to greet people and even just a little bit of Quebecois French, just to, I don't know. And y'all were basically like, Jen, you're moving to British Columbia. Like, you're not going to have to really speak French. So I do still kind of want to learn a little bit here and there. But y'all reassured me that I can just learn that on like Duolingo. Like, I don't have to go through a big process unless I really want to, which I may one day. But that doesn't have to be a priority. I also mentioned, and a lot of you were laughing at me about this, that I had learned about curling. And you guys were like, Jen, you don't need to learn about curling. Like, I don't even know anything about curling. And I was like, okay. And then about hockey, I do know a little bit about hockey, but not a ton. I feel like I'm going to be able to get by based on what you are telling me. But the biggest thing that is going to be really hard for me that I learned is that saying y'all is not good, which y'all is directly within my blood and my bones. I say y'all all the time, and I'm going to try to use this channel to practice not saying y'all because I don't want to stand out like a sore thumb. I want to be able to not, people be like, what are you doing? So one person even said in the comments that it's offensive to say y'all, and I didn't even expect that at all. So yeah, thank you for letting me practice on you. It's going to slip out probably every once in a while, but I'm going to try to change it and not say it as much. Maryland is on the Mason-Dixon line, and we pick up some of the north stuff, some of the south stuff, and one thing a lot of people say around here is y'all, and it's just in my vocabulary. So what I'm gonna have to do is really practice that. So I will do my best. I'm not saying it's not gonna slip out every once in a while, but take a little while to beat it out of me. So that's one thing I learned last week, is avoid saying y'all. And in that video, I said y'all a lot. So I can see why it stood out really, really bad. So I'm working on it. Noted. So now some updates on what has happened since the last video. So the first thing is that my dad has submitted for my mama's birth certificate, and that is in the mail. My mom mailed it FedEx so that it doesn't go through Canadian Post. I did read that there are some things that are improving a little bit with Canadian Post, that they may be starting to get some mail out through Canadian Post, but we decided to do the FedEx route to try to avoid all of that. So that is on the way. But another thing that you taught me last week and we talked about was that I do have her certificate of baptism, and I'm about to say it again. I have her certificate of baptism, and you lovely folk. Did I say folk? I don't Okay. I do have her certificate of baptism, and some of you let me know that that may be her official birth certificate since she was born in a French-speaking part of Ontario. So we are submitting all of our citizenship paperwork tomorrow. It is all together. We're just kind of getting one last person to take one last look at it, and it's all getting submitted tomorrow, which I'm so excited about. Because of Bill C-3, my grandmother is a lost Canadian, and Bill C-3 is looking to restore her Canadian citizenship, which would trickle down to me being a Canadian citizen and possibly even my kids. So we are submitting for all three of us. My husband will have to be sponsored by me if I am granted Canadian citizenship, which would be amazing. Like we talked about this before, how the thought of being a Canadian citizen it gives me that happy feeling in my stomach. A lot of you are saying things like welcome home to me, and it makes me emotional. I'm trying not to cry in every single video. Y'all are gonna get you lovely people are going to get so tired of me if I get emotional in every video. But when you say that, it really does like strike a chord in my soul. So we will see how it goes. It does seem like that paperwork is going to take a really long time, like 8 months. So that would leak into when we're supposed to move. We're supposed to move in July, August of 2026. So we may have to enter Canada as visitors, as a 6-month visitor visa, which hopefully would give us enough time for everything to shake out. And we're going to talk to our immigration professional, and I want to give a very strong and just passionate thank you to Don Chapman for all of the work that he's done for the Lost Canadians and for trying to get Bill C-3 passed. He has been helping me personally, not because of this YouTube channel. I don't even know if he knows I have a YouTube channel. He's just helping people who are on the path to citizenship through Bill C-3. So shout out to Don, you're amazing. But yeah, so all of that is done. The packets are made. We tried to make it as perfect as possible to try to get it to be as easy as possible for whoever gets that paperwork. The next thing is that my husband we talked about, had been accepted to Camosun College, and he now received his provincial letter. So now the next step is to submit for the student, it's not a visa, it's a student permit. That's the next step. So hopefully that all goes through. We're still waiting to see if Phoenix, which is my oldest, gets accepted into University of Victoria. We're hoping that will happen in like January, maybe December, January, I'm hoping. But I have high hopes. Phoenix has fantastic grades. I know SAT scores don't count there, but they have a fantastic SAT score, and they already have some college courses. At least they count as college courses here through high school. I mean, my child is very good at the school thing, so I'm hoping that grants them entry into University of Victoria. If for some reason they don't get into University of Victoria, the plan is to go to Camosun for a year and then transfer to University of Victoria, which I've heard a lot of people in that area do anyway. And we do have a meeting with our immigration advisor this week to kind of just make sure we're on the same page with everything, because we really want to do this the right way, and we want to make sure we follow all the legal channels and make sure we do everything right. It's so important to us. So just speaking about this lovely community that we are developing here. So one thing that's really neat about YouTube, and I'll show you on the screen, is that once people start watching a channel, I do have another channel called Jen Love, which is my main channel. This is kind of my side project channel. That's where I earn my living, is from that channel. But one thing that's really cool in the back end of that is I can see the channels that people that watch this channel, I can see the channels that you all watch. Can I say you all? Or, like, you have to tell me, is you all the same as y'all? I need to know the distinction. I need to know what the rules are. Just tell me the rules and I'll follow the rules. Like, that's kind of the way I've always been. Just tell me what the expectation is and I will meet that. But anyway, so I have been watching a lot of the channels that you watch. One thing that I realized was probably a stereotype and was probably not ever true is the saying of, instead of about, saying a boot. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. There's nobody that I've seen says that. And I'm embarrassed. I'm legit embarrassed that I thought that people actually somewhere said a boot. Just like the US, there are accents among Canadians because we're so spread out. There's gonna be different accents. How do you say the word about? I'm assuming none of you say a boot. But let me know. If you do, then let me know, because I just want to know all of the things. Just tell me all the things. Speaking of knowing all the things, I'm kind of rerouting my educational journey because I want to be as educated as possible when we get there. And one of the things that a lot of you suggested that I do is educate myself on the Indigenous history of British Columbia, because there are a lot of Indigenous people that live there and there's a lot of cultures and languages. So that is going to be my priority going forward. Besides learning about the Canadian government and how it works, I also want to learn about the Indigenous cultures, because one thing that I thought was really amazing, like so amazing when we were there, was the land tributes. So when we did the tour of University of Victoria, when we went to the Chauvinist Theater, that they did land tributes, and I had never seen anything like that before. There's no equivalent to my knowledge in the US of a land tribute, even though there absolutely should be. So that when I hear a land tribute, I know what that means. So that is where I'm going as far as my educational journey next. I want to thank you again so much for all of your kind comments and for all of the support and all of your thoughtful things that you're teaching me. And I will continue to be an active learner, and I am looking forward to learning more on my own and also from you. And I hope that you continue to be safe and happy and healthy. And I will see you in a video soon. Bye.